Let's get down to business.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday, April the 13th edition of Blue Collar Sports Talk. Here's just a quick look of what we're going to talk about today.
So let's get down to business.
We have a little Husker news.
Give you one more night, got this. We've had a minute.
We'll take a look at some NFL news.
So let's get down to business. Back and forth.
We have some NHL stuff to talk about.
Said before, I don't mean it. It's been a while.
NBA, we'll recap some of last week's picks we had.
In my heart to hit it.
And the play-in tournament games are upon us. And we'll also discuss the NBA playoffs. And now here's our show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday morning edition of Blue Collar Sports Talk. Daryl here.
James, morning.
Roger might be on hiatus. He said potentially he'll come and join us, maybe, but more than likely back when football kicks back in. Husker news. We'll start in with some Husker news. I noticed that one of our teams that we rarely talk about, our bowling team, is doing amazing. And they have the potential for bringing home another national championship.
Wasn't it last year before? Didn't they?
2021.
Yeah, they just won one.
Yeah, and they're in Las Vegas right now for a regional. They advanced, and they will take on McKendree Friday morning at 11 Central Time, and it is a matchup of the past two NCAA championship bowling teams.
Oh, very nice.
So this should be fun. The Huskers are looking for their seventh NCAA championship, and the last one we just mentioned was in 2021. So, Lady Husker bowling team, we wish you all the best, and power past your next one. The softball. The softball team has a 3-game series. I looked on Huskers.com. That's my favorite place to go for some Husker news. And they are going to take on Indiana in Indiana. I believe it was Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And I thought, if I can pull it up here real quick, I thought one of those might be on Big Ten. Let me double check here.
Oh, we never get that lucky.
I apologize. I always get confused. I see the Big Ten logo, but it's with a little plus sign after it. So
Yeah.
all of them are on Big Ten Plus if you have that. And then Wednesday, looking ahead to Wednesday.
Yes.
At home, Blue Jays are coming to town.
So are you J-Skers? You get your little Husker Creighton matchup going on again.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So the day before, the baseball team is hosting Creighton.
Yes.
So the baseball team is away as well. They're in Northwestern. The softball team is away. They're in Indiana. And they both come home. Tuesday, the men host Creighton. And then Wednesday, the ladies host Creighton.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. The Husker men had a couple of players honored this week. Olson got pitcher of the week, and Anderson was Big Ten baseball player of the week.
Oh, very nice.
So kudos to you.
Yep.
You too.
Men's baseball sitting around 17-11. So again, we need to get that 7-8 game win streak going, get that win total pushed up.
Yeah, that'd be great. They're doing good. I mean, I think Will Bolt has them playing really well.
Yeah. A couple crappy losses, which, it's baseball. You get some that you should win, and you win some you probably shouldn't have won. But, yeah, it is nice to see them above 500 consistently right now, which is very nice.
So this will be the second time we've played Creighton for our men. And the men, the baseball, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series with Northwestern. The Saturday game is at 2:02, and that one you can check out on public TV. It used to be over the airwaves, Channel 12. But thanks to the internet, you can actually go to the Nebraska Public Media Network webpage and watch it for free. You don't have to sign up or anything.
Nice. Okay.
And then also the Creighton game on Tuesday. It's a 7 o'clock game, or 7:05 first pitch. That one will be on the Big Ten Network. And then, of course, all our Husker fans, Matt Rule is having lots of practices,
Yes.
figuring everything out.
Next week, 22nd, I believe it is. The draft is the 27th. But spring games next Saturday.
That's huge. Also, I think in a couple of weeks, everybody who is a volleyball fan, they will release the ability to buy tickets for the Memorial Stadium exhibition matches.
Yeah. The 24th, I think, is for ticket holders, and 25th is for everybody else.
Yeah, and they haven't announced who the national music artist is, but one of the Journal-Star reporters let it slip, and she said it's a country music act.
I would say the rumor is a country act, so
Yeah.
I can bring earplugs. It's fine.
I just think it's great. I don't
I do
care
too.
who came up with the idea. And I know we mentioned it, like, hey, just squash everybody trying to outdo everybody with the attendance records.
Yeah.
Do Memorial Stadium.
Right. I mean, if you want to really set the bar, do it. Because they just had people lined up buying Nebraska tickets not too long, volleyball tickets earlier this week.
Their spring match sold out in 52 minutes or something ridiculous.
Exactly. So I don't think we're going to have a problem getting this record huge. I'm just excited to see who's the next school to go, all right, well, let's give it a shot. Or does everyone go, you know what? We won't reach 80,000, so let's not embarrass ourselves.
I can't remember how many. Ohio State and Michigan are the two
Hundreds.
teams that could potentially look at that.
Right.
But honestly, it was Wisconsin that was the other team
Yes.
that said, okay, we'll beat you. We got a bigger arena.
Yeah.
But I don't think their football team holds that much. And I know even if they go to Green Bay, the Green Bay Packers Stadium doesn't hold that
Yeah,
many.
it's a 60-some thousand. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. But even if they open it up, say Ohio State goes, yep, we're going to do this. Do they even show up? I mean, could they get?
Yeah. Well, the other one is Minnesota that I thought about. If they hold it in the Viking Stadium.
That's an 80.
Yeah. And if you put bleachers on the turf.
Yep.
So, exciting time for any fan who wants to go and check out an exhibition volleyball match. Make sure and get your tickets if you want to go, because otherwise, those tickets are really tough to come by.
Yes.
Very tough to come by.
It might be the easiest game you get to see.
Yeah, it truly is.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on to NFL news. Earlier in the week, James had texted me like, hey, let's talk about some NFL news.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing right now is, is the Lamar Jackson OBJ talk. So the Ravens signed OBJ, and immediately talking heads were like, so he wouldn't do that. Lamar's guaranteed to sign with him now, right? Blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I guess I'm doing the negative side of it. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's it. My opinion, I don't know either of these guys, but if I'm OBJ and he's been fishing for a contract for almost 9 months now through the Cowboys and the Patriots and Green Bay and the Jets with Rodgers, I think he got the best deal he could. He's like, man, these are the guys that are only willing to give me this amount of dollars, $15 million guaranteed, possible 18 with incentives. And I'm like, I'm not sure who my quarterback is, but no one else is willing to give me this much. And this is what I want. Because Dallas, I read numerous things that they're like, dude, we're not giving you that much.
Right.
I think they were around the 9-10 million frame, and he wanted his 15, 18. So I don't think this has anything to do with Lamar. Does it help Lamar? I don't know, because March 2nd, you said, I wanted to be traded. So now you've already trying to distance yourself from the team.
I don't know if it was even necessarily a distance. I feel it was a chess move. I want money. I want paid. I want some guaranteed salary. He saw what Deshaun Watson got. Someone got in his ear and said, this is what you can get because someone else already has it. It's guaranteed money. You're definitely worth it. The other side of that is Baltimore is looking at this and, the last few years, they've made some great moves in getting some great players. But now, for me to look at this, I read an article on Sports Illustrated. They're paying a 31-year-old wide receiver who last played a complete healthy season in 2019. His yards per target have steadily declined. They're paying him $15 million guaranteed. He is the 71st receiver in terms of catch, difficult catches, gaining yards after the catch, and getting open. He was
17th.
71st.
Oh, 71st. Oh, I thought you said 17th.
71st.
Right, okay, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Even worse.
The guy ahead of him, Austin Hooper.
A tight end.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So now Baltimore did that, but also I also read that all these other teams don't want to be the whipping boy, so to speak, to try and get contract negotiations set up for Baltimore to just go, okay, yeah, we'll match that offer.
Right.
And you're out all those man hours and you still don't have the quarterback that you want. So I understand why no team has really stepped up and wanted to negotiate, because Baltimore ultimately has the final say.
Right. Yeah. And nothing against Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. He still is. I mean, if you put him on several different teams that need quarterbacks, they're immediately 3 or 4 wins better. I'm not saying that at all. I take him over Tua 5 out of 5 times. But yeah, he put himself in this position now that this is one of the best receivers, even though he's on the decline, that Baltimore's had in years, maybe since they've been in Baltimore. But for Lamar, I'm thinking stick to your guns. But
the other side of that is Baltimore really doesn't want to, because they have a quarterback who hasn't been truly healthy and hasn't played a full season since 2020.
Right. Yeah. So Baltimore's like, we hold the thing because we put the tag on you. Either sit out a year and you don't play, then we see what happens in the end of the year. Or you do sign it, you play. And so I've heard if he does play, he does business decisions, like keep himself healthy. But if you don't play great and have a good season and go out as a free agent, can you demand that much more money?
I feel that Baltimore, the organization, holds the most
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have all the leverage.
Right.
Because personally, I feel that that's why they're paying Odell $15 million for the veteran presence in the locker room. Even if he doesn't play, it's like the Blake Griffin bringing him into the Boston Celtics. Hey, Blake, you may not play that much, but we want you to kind of be the voice of reason with all these young players, giving them experience. This is what I did when I was in the playoffs. This is what I did when I was in the finals. This is what I did with a difficult situation. So if Lamar Jackson stays, hey, you do have a voice of a veteran player. If Lamar Jackson leaves, you have the voice of a veteran player.
Right.
So I feel that, again, Baltimore set themselves up for success.
Yeah.
And they go, this is what could potentially happen.
Yep.
And the NFL draft is right around the corner.
Yeah. And I still see him either sitting out or leaving. I'm not on that truck yet. I mean, I could be obviously totally 100% wrong, but I don't see Lamar throwing another pass for Baltimore. I think that the ties have been that jaded. Both sides are hurting. I don't see any mending unless they take a cruise together, get it over with, and come back holding hands.
It'll be interesting because money can make a lot of problems go away. Well, at least in Lamar's eyes.
Right.
You give me at least a sizable guaranteed contract, and that could bend a lot of fences. But I agree with you that I feel a lot of stuff has happened for Lamar to be, right. I'm mad. I can go to the Browns and I don't care if I lose or win. I'm paid. I'm set up for the rest of my life.
Yep.
The other thing too that I noticed was the Indianapolis Colts have decided, hey, we're going to focus on the NFL draft.
Yes.
But that's not guaranteed.
No, and that's a lot of what everyone's saying is, why don't you go ahead and do the legwork like you were saying, go after Lamar, because he's only 26, I think it is. So you still have a good 4 or 5 years out of a running quarterback, decent on what hit he gets. And you have a proven commodity and not wait a minute, I'm going to draft this kid out of Alabama, Ohio State, Kentucky, Florida, whatever, because they have a number 4 pick. But I don't have a proven commodity like I would have in Lamar. I can give up that draft pick, give up this contract for him, give his guaranteed, and now I'm set at quarterback for 4 years or 5, whatever it is. Or yeah, do you roll the dice at the number 4 pick, hope the guy you want is still there, and then you hope it doesn't turn out to be a bust?
Exactly. Look what the San Francisco 49ers did. The very last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, took them to the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Granted, he got hurt. I mean, and it was one of those things where, hey, we don't expect you to do all this, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
And then the reason is because there was no pressure. You draft high, and that puts so much pressure on them.
Fact.
Hey, how come you're not performing? Hey, how come you're not our number 1 pick? Hey, how come you're not acting like a number 2 pick?
I don't know, maybe because I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
These fans, and I blame football fans 100%. When they start the season, Carolina, number 1 pick. They draft C.J. Stroud. That's my guess who they're going to go with. And the ideal situation is let him sit for the year. Let him learn. Patrick Mahomes sat, watched. Aaron Rodgers sat, watched. Drew Brady.
Drew Brees, even though he was hurt, he had to sit and watch for a while.
And they turned out to be really, really good quarterbacks. Now, yes, you do have the few that's a Peyton Manning that went in there, took his lumps, and turned out to be a really good quarterback. But a lot of them don't have that mentality. So let them sit a year. But these fans, they'll start the season 1-3, and they start screaming, put the rookie in. No, let him still learn. You know, those defenses are so much faster, which we all know. They disguise so much better their coverages. Let them learn the tendencies. But fans will scream for it. The coaches will get pressure. The ownership's pressure. They got to put the guy in. And next thing you know, Donaldson, another one, drafted high, had all this expectation. Oh, throw him in. He didn't do well. Ryan Leaf, same thing. Didn't handle the pressure well when you don't give him a chance to learn. So here we are. Zach for the Jets.
Here's a business question for you. I read a headline. I didn't read the article. Jeff Bezos probably won't put in a bid for the Commanders.
Thank goodness.
Okay, you say thank goodness. If he were, hypothetically, what if he was the owner? What would that management team look like with him as the owner? Better or worse?
My opinion, I would think worse because I don't think he when I see him in his different things, he doesn't strike me as a sports football person. So he'd have to try to pick who he thinks or who people tell him is there. Hey, that's a really good guy. Hey, that guy knows. Hey, that guy knows. A lot of these owners, like, your Jerry Jones, your Krafts, all them guys that do it successfully, they already know who the good football guys are. To me, Bezos, I think, is just one of those, hey, I got a few billion burning a hole in my pocket. What if I buy an NFL team?
Yeah, but also, if he bought an NFL team, that's guaranteed profit.
True.
So when I saw that headline, I was like, really? I think that's a ploy to get other people more interested in a bidding process that I think he is still part of.
Right, but it doesn't make them better. I mean, they could get the NFL, yeah, they're like, oh, we'll take the money. But does the Commanders become a better football team if he doesn't surround himself with the correct people?
I'm going to say initially, what if Bezos became the owner? Yeah, they would be just maybe a little bit better because it's not the current owner.
Oh, well,
who has kind of almost imploded the situation there, who has treated everybody horrible, if you believe everything in the news, which I do. I believe everything I read.
Right.
But some of the stuff that he's done, I guess, is just unfathomable.
Yeah, and I'm still surprised that it's lasted this long.
I am too.
I mean, numerous times we've heard or rumored that he was on his way out or someone out buying him and forcing him to sell all that stuff, and yet 4 or 5. I mean, that was pre-COVID.
If it was the NBA, he would be out already.
Oh man, they're ruthless.
Or if he would have been really done something really bad to the owner, owner, because those guys, if they want you out, they want you out. But I don't know. So do you remember a time when he said, "Oh, I have all this stuff of dirt on all you people"?
Yes.
It must be amazing dirt.
It scared a lot of them.
I think it's amazing dirt.
But the Colts owner, Irsay, he didn't care. He came right out and said, we need to vote this guy out. I mean, he's been the loudest voice of pushing Snyder out. And the other people are like, does he really have something?
Yeah. You take a look at this file, and then everybody's quiet, except for Irsay.
Right.
So is he the cleanest owner?
And also for you, a Giants fan, Barkley's not going to sign the franchise tag, so he's not going to report to the early training.
So I didn't realize that. That was portion of not signing. You can't do early workouts. You can't be with the team.
Right. The big thing right there, you cannot work out with the team. You guys could go to any football, high school football field, college football field, and work out together. He can go with Jones and all them and run plays and all that, but he can't do it as a Giants organized thing. And they said, this is normal. A lot of veterans will do it. They won't sign. They'll start doing their own thing still. The big thing is a July deadline somewhere in there. He has to sign it and report. So I 100% see Saquon playing this year under the tag.
I do too.
But yeah, so Giants fans, relax. He might just enjoy his off time still.
I view it as, again, a negotiation tactic. I want money. I want paid. Look at what I've done to your offense. Look how I contribute. Give me some money. You don't want me? Go find somebody else that can do all this stuff for you.
And unfortunately, the running back position is getting less and less value.
It is.
I mean,
It truly is.
Yeah.
Everything's going air, wide receiver, quarterback, air. Oh, we can find somebody that does halfway decent. We don't care.
So just off top of our heads, I wish we had Roger here because he could go back 10 years. We've had the Bucks, the Rams, Kansas City a couple times, win the Super Bowl. Their running back was not tops in the league, did not rush for the 1,000-yard things or whatever, 1,500 yards, whatever the new standard is.
Right.
None of them. And I think you can go back 8 Super Bowls, and the running back was not
a factor.
Wasn't in the league. But it does work for the game. I do agree. You need a running game, but you don't need that 1,500, 1,600-yard guy in the season. Hey, we had the leading rusher. The Raiders leading rusher in the season and didn't make the playoffs. So I love the running back position. I love running the ball.
I think it opens up your game more.
100%. But Barkley, you might want to be careful on how much you ask for, because other teams will be like, dude, Zeke, one word, Zeke. Yeah.
Or an unknown. There's a lot of great running backs in the draft right now.
Yes. And
you get them at a bargain.
Every 4 years, just draft a different one.
So I agree. It's unfortunate that you're making the owners billions of dollars and they don't want to spend millions on you. So switching gears a little bit, NHL. Still have a couple more days left, I believe, of some play.
Today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and the only reason there's tomorrow is because a couple of games got postponed earlier in the season.
Right.
With I think one was weather and something else. But the standings, Boston, of course, is just way on top.
They made it to their 62 wins. They're at actually 64. Excuse me. And then they already got the 133 points, which is just ridiculous.
I was looking at the standings, and there's a couple teams that stand out beside the Bruins right now that are just on an amazing streak. Edmonton Oilers, out of their last 10, have won 9 and have that one in the tie column. They're on an 8-game win streak.
Yeah. Squeezed out a win the other night, too, just to keep it going.
Winnipeg are 7-3 in the last 10, which is really good. In my mind, that's really good.
Yeah.
Heading into the playoffs, you're doing all the right things. The Avalanche, 8-1-1.
Man. And they have a tough game. They're one of the games coming up.
And Carolina really surprised me. In the last 10, they're 4-5-1. So they're trending the wrong way as you head towards the playoffs.
Yes.
So this playoffs, once it starts, it's going to be amazing.
And kind of put Boston's thing in perspective. The 81 games, most everybody's played 81 games. Some have their 82 already. Boston has 64 wins. The next most wins is Carolina, who you're just talking about slacking a little bit, at 51. Everyone's around 49 to 51 wins going into the playoffs. They have 14 more, not wins, ties, it's wins.
Yeah.
They're 133 points. The next closest one is, again, Carolina. at 111, 22 more. That's a very dominant season. That's a Bulls going 72-10 type season.
Yeah, the second team behind Boston has 109 points in their same division.
Yeah.
And the Vegas Knights in the Pacific Western Conference have 109 points. But like you're saying, 50 wins, 14 less wins.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. The Eastern Conference has some great talent. We'll see what happens with Boston and who they match up with and how they do.
Yeah. By the way, goal differential plus 127. I mean, as a Bruins fan, oh my. And then 50. New Jersey has a plus minus of 64, which is right below Dallas at plus 66.
Yeah, no one is over.
Double. They're literally doubling everybody's point systems.
No one is over 70.
God.
And they have 100 and some. That's nuts.
Man, I'm excited because I think these hockey playoffs, I don't think there's any sweeps. I don't even think Boston's going to sweep going through. It looks like they should line up with the Florida Panthers. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. They're probably going to sweep the Florida Panthers, but I think there's going to be a lot of good hockey, especially in the West. A lot of big-time battles.
Okay, so if they started the playoffs today, it would actually be the Bruins and the New York Islanders.
Oh.
But again, with a couple different things, because Carolina would take on the Florida Panthers if they were set up today.
Okay.
But I don't see the Islanders being that much of a problem of if the Bruins stay on top of all this stuff.
Right.
You know, they could totally. So in the last 10, the Islanders are 5-4-1, and they have won 42 games.
They made a little push.
So, yeah, they did, but I don't see it being a big enough push to knock the mighty Bruins out.
Oh no.
But it'll. I agree with you, James. This playoff season for.
Yeah, if you're a Western fan of, your Knights, Edmonton, Dallas, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, and Seattle, the Winnipeg Jets a little bit, but that West, I'm not saying is wide open with Colorado and the Knights, but it could be.
So I pulled up the New York Islanders schedule, and I'm just going to say they may not have the best goalie. They let the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 6th of April, put up 6 goals to their 1.
Ooh.
And I'm going way back, when they played the Bruins back in February, they lost 6-2. So again, the playoff matchups aren't completely set in stone because we do have a few games left.
Yeah.
So.
And the Lightning's been the worst. 3-7, lost 4 straight now. Sitting middle of the road over there in the East, so they definitely need to get their stuff together.
Playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, NBA's play-in games have kicked off, and the Lakers.
Yeah, let's go all the way back to Tuesday. The early game with the Hawks and the Heat.
Okay.
I like that the Hawks were darn near wire to wire in that game. It was on the road. No, by the way, Roger made sure, he said no 8 seed has ever won that 7-8 play-in game. And Hawks were the first 8 to win. And I'm not saying dominant, but whenever the Heat got within 5 or 6, they regrouped and got it back up to double digits. Good on Atlanta. Snyder getting there late in the season. Obviously, he was a midseason hire. I liked what they did. They played really good rotation team ball. At one point, there was 22 assists on 27 shots. That's how you win games.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I was at work, but I tried to catch a lot of the highlights and some of the replay. I didn't catch the whole thing when I replayed it. But the one thing that I noticed was DeJounte Murray grabs Trae Young, and they have a little conference. And Trae Young looked engaged. So to have these two stellar players doing this, going, hey, if you would have tried this, maybe this would have helped a little bit on that play. because you're game planning, and the Heat are amazing.
Right.
To have the Hawks get past them, I thought was great on the road.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, on the road. And like you said, I mean, when you just look at Hero, Butler, Abadayo, Lowry, who had a huge game. And then just like the Hawks, and I said, basically wire to wire beat these guys on their home floor.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Neither team really shot that well, though.
No.
Atlanta finished with almost 47% overall, 24 from behind the arc.
20, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, woof.
Mm.
And the Heat finished almost 43% overall and 32% behind the arc. So none of them were really on fire. But they had a great effort by 9 guys.
Yes. It was very much a team.
And Sadiq Bey couldn't be stopped. Off the bench, that's what really actually won him this game. Bogdanovich, 14 points. Johnson, 10. Bey, 17. Okongwu, 12. DeJounte Murray, 18. And Trae Young, 25. And John Collins had 10. And then somehow DeAndre Hunter only put up 6. And Capella only had 4. But Capella had 21 rebounds.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Dude, they were resetting balls and getting second chance points left and right. And when you have the big guys that Miami has, for them to not get Capella's not even like a 7-footer.
No.
You know, he's like a 6'8", 6'9" guy, I think.
That's what I was thinking. He was 6'9", but it was the rebounding was 63 to 39 or something ridiculous.
Yeah. And
6'10", according to ESPN.
Right. So that's with the shoes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that was great. Great effort for them to go in there and not just lay an egg and be that first 8 seed to win. And as we'll go on, we've had 2 10 seeds win, but we're not that far yet. We'll go Lakers, Minnesota. And to me, I don't know. I know I texted you. You had fallen asleep. Come the fourth quarter, dude, that was some of the worst basketball. It was almost like I was watching an NCAA tournament again with people that did not know how to execute the last 5 minutes of a game. You call it crunch time or, whatever they call it for stats on who makes what shot. Minnesota imploded, could not run a play, couldn't throw the ball to a guy without throwing it out of bounds or at their feet.
And then Lakers tried to do the same thing. Both teams tried to give the game away.
Right. That last minute, I was like, I'm not even sure I'm watching an NBA game. These are neither. And for the Lakers to win and everybody jumping back on that bandwagon saying, oh, Memphis is in trouble, Davis and Lamar. I was like, did you seriously watch that game? Minnesota pretty much beating them for the first 3 quarters. And you're saying that the Lakers look like a dominant team to win the West?
No. Not to me.
Right.
They have a lot of stuff to figure out.
A lot.
And I didn't understand how they couldn't put them away. They looked sloppy, both teams.
Yes.
When I say they look sloppy. So D'Angelo Russell played 24 minutes and had 2 points. He went 1 for 9.
Yeah.
You're at home. You should be in rhythm, right?
And Edwards for Minnesota, I think he at one point was 0 for 7. He missed all of his 3-pointers. And they kind of balanced each other out because they both played bad.
Edwards was 3 for 17.
Yes. At one point, 0 for 9. If they had
He is 0 for 9. He didn't hit a single 3-pointer.
Right. If they would have had Rudy Gobert, between Rudy, Cat, and Conley, I think they could have put the Lakers away. But Rudy got suspended for punching a player, so he wasn't there. He'll be there this next game. But
I didn't understand why they didn't put in Doc's son, Austin Rivers.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there either. There was no...
That kid can play.
Yeah.
Does the coach not like him? I don't understand that. I think he would put up better numbers than 0 for 9 from behind the 3-point line.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So we're talking about 24 turnovers for Minnesota, 21 turnovers for the Lakers. That's not championship basketball. As a must-win, you're playing this game knowing, hey, if we win this, we're in. 45 turnovers. Really? Oh, I mean, the only thing they did right is they both shot 90% from the free throw line. That's the only positive I see from this game. They both shot lower percentages than we just talked about with the Heat and Atlanta, who didn't shoot great. 3 points, we've already said that Lakers don't have a three-point shooter, that sniper. Schroeder hit a couple threes. He was their best, I think, percentage-wise, and he's not a three-point shooter.
He was 3 for 4, 21 points. The stats that jumped out to me the most that show the Timberwolves just gave the game away was their overall shooting percentage at 43, almost 43 and a half. And their 3-point was almost 40. It was 39%, and they still lost. I say that those two stats jumped out at me because LA was 7% less at 3 behind the arc and almost 4% less overall.
Yeah.
You should win when you're shooting better percentage basketball shots. But you're not.
25 plus points in the first 3 quarters. And they scored a total of 16 in the fourth and overtime combined, 12 and 4. And it went from, when I was texting, they could not, there was no more, all of a sudden everybody stopped moving. It was like they realized, oh crap, we could actually win. And they let the pressure. The crowd, I'm sure the home court advantage for the Lakers took over. The mystique of LeBron and Davis on the floor, I don't know what it was. Big Cat did what he could. But that Kyle Anderson, dude, I would have benched him quickly. He imploded quick under all that pressure. A young team needs Conley did what he could as a veteran experience, shot amazing. Just no help for Big Cat and Conley.
It was bad.
Yeah.
That was too bad. I wanted them to get it done in LA, and they didn't, unfortunately.
It had me fooled for 3 quarters, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Me as well. So now the Timberwolves, go ahead.
No, go ahead, yep.
So now the Timberwolves have to face the Thunder.
Right.
Tonight.
Who did what the Lakers did. Pretty much the Pelicans were not owning the game, but they had it, 5-6 point lead, maintaining it all the way until the third quarter. And I think it was like a 9 or 10 point outscored them in the third. Your favorite guy there,
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA, yeah. He 7 in the first half, finished with 32.
The guy is unstoppable, but it wasn't just him. It was what he allowed his whole team to do. Oh. Here's a Bill Russell quote, because it ties into how I feel what LeBron has done his entire career or hasn't done, and what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing early in his career. This is a Bill Russell quote. The most important measure of how good a game I played was how much better I made my teammates play.
Fact.
That's not LeBron. LeBron can do that at times, but then LeBron is like, nah, I want cool people around me. I want my team to look cool.
Yeah. I want already good players, so I don't have to make you be better.
Bill Russell wanted to be great and wanted his team to be great. And if he didn't score all the points, that's great. He could have all the rebounds or all the assists, but he wanted his whole team to be great.
Yeah. Larry Bird Magic, when they came into the NBA, that was their plan. That's what made the NBA all of a sudden a fan favorite. Everybody started watching it because it was obviously struggling before they came into the league. But they came in and Magic, like that show that you talk about.
Winning Time.
Winning Time, thank you. He wasn't coming in saying, hey, I'm the top pick, just give me the ball, let me do my thing. No, I'm passing the ball. He was getting triple doubles because he was passing the ball. He wasn't, I'm going to do 30 and 5. I need to do 45 and 5. No. I want to do 20 and 20. Jason Kidd, I make everybody else around me better. My job's a lot easier. Yeah, SGA and Gibby, and the two Jalen twins. Oh, man. Yeah. Like I said, they a little slow start in the first half on the road, but come that second half, man, they really played well.
I feel bad for Brandon Ingram. 38 minutes, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. The guy has put his whole heart into this game. And if they could have a healthy this is the biggest if in basketball right now.
I know it. And
if they could have a healthy former Duke player, Zion Williamson, they could potentially play and beat anybody any given night.
So
if
before his hamstring on January 2nd, we were talking about them being a game out of first. They were the only team right behind Denver. He hurt his hamstring, and obviously they slowly declined and played, 500 basketball, whatever the final record is. Yes.
Because Valanciunas has 18 rebounds.
Yeah. You're 100% correct, only because we saw it. The Pelicans were number 2 in the West when Zion was playing and was somewhat healthy. And he very well cost them here because now they're at home and he has yet to play. And he hasn't, they showed a stat, he hasn't played in 50% of their games.
Yeah.
It's all gone all last year. And a hamstring, which I know different hamstring strains are different, and he's a big guy that moves hard. January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd, 3 months, we don't have the medicine to get this. Yeah, it sucks because I think the Pelicans wouldn't even have been in this position.
No, they would not be in the play-in.
Right.
They would not be in the play-on.
Zion is that good.
He is amazing. But he's just not that good. For whatever reason, the whole team feels uplifted with his presence.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's just that gregarious as a person to make everybody feel better, or if it's just all the intangibles all together and then, so my work level came down a little bit. My work level came down a bit. I can play at ease. Because without him, I feel Brandon Ingram has to carry this team, and he can't do it.
Right. Oh, he did his best. So we're just talking about the Lakers. Very experienced team when you look at the roster. Oklahoma City, the youngest team, average age, right? Very young team. No one really knows, except for us talking about SGA all the time. In a play-in game where they need it, 7 turnovers. The Pelicans, only 11 turnovers. So you can say what you want to say. There's 2 teams getting it done. And they only had 7 turnovers, but New Orleans got 21 points off those very measly 7 turnovers. And the big thing that you can see the pressure, 80, both of them below 90% from the free throw line. So they're going to have to pick that up if they want to keep going. So yeah, now we got OKC going to play Minnesota with the ticket to go play Denver.
So Thunder or Timberwolves, who has a better chance of advancing?
Watching the 2 play, the Thunder, only because unlike Minnesota, who needed to execute down the stretch in the final 3 or 2 minutes of the game, they couldn't. OKC, Nola pushed a couple times, got that. It was a tight game for crying out loud. And OKC, SGA, Gibby, they made plays down the stretch and won the game.
And yet Vegas has Minnesota favored by 5. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would too.
I'll take it.
How sloppy Minnesota played, granted it was on the road.
Right.
I don't see them winning by 5. I don't understand that. And for me personally, especially with the amount of effort that OKC had and winning on the road in New Orleans. They beat Memphis, their last regularly scheduled game. They beat Utah in Utah.
Right.
And they put up 125 against Golden State when Golden State decided, we should probably start playing basketball for real now that the playoffs are upon us. And they lost to a Phoenix team that was equipped with their secret weapon in Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see the Timberwolves staying with them. I hope that OKC blows them out.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm looking also like you were, and is it because they're at home, I guess? But OKC just won on the road themselves. Yeah, I'll take that bet. I'll go to the casino after this show, and I'm going to go put $20 down at OKC.
That being said, I understand where Vegas is coming from. Minnesota has 2 more wins. Minnesota should have all the pieces. OKC is younger. They're not as experienced, but they just beat an experienced team on the road.
Right.
So I'm sticking with that. I'm
100%.
thinking OKC moves on and has to play the Nuggets.
100%. So speaking of 2 teams so we'll go to the Chicago-Toronto.
Okay.
And give you a little feeling. Last night, I'm watching the game off and on. I was obviously where I didn't want to work last night. I was working it. And I'm having to go out and I look at the score. 10 minutes to go in the game. Toronto's up 10. I go out. Roger's out there fueling Sandy, and I walk over to him. I was like, hey, Toronto's just handling Chicago. They're up 10 with, 10 to go, whatever. Gives me a little nod like, oh, yeah, we kind of expected that, in Toronto. They're a really good team. I go inside, and I do a little peek at the score, and it's a 3-point lead for Chicago, and I can't turn it on fast enough. I'm like, what the heck? 3 minutes, 3:30 to go, Bulls have a 3-point lead, and I'm like, oh, my. So hats off Zach LaVine and DeRozan figured it out quick.
And DeRozan's daughter started screaming at everybody at the free throw line. And she, in my mind, single-handedly helped the Bulls win this game by helping them shoot, I think, 50 or under 50% from the free throw line.
They missed 18 free. They are free.
Unless you have a little girl screaming the highest pitched, most shrill scream right at your release. And it's jarring. I'm watching it and I've got my stereo on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to turn this down. Right. What is going on?
Who is strangling that little girl?
Right. And the broadcast team gets their cameras to show her. And she's like, she's getting ready. She's getting ready. She's getting ready. And it's just this high pitched scream from this little girl. And it's DeRozan's daughter.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Perfect.
He had to talk with her at halftime.
Oh, I hope he buys her as many pizza parties as she wants.
She's getting some soft serve ice cream.
But Toronto was so dejected. They're at home thinking, okay, we're going to roll past the Bulls. But the Bulls have been the giant killer this year. I know years ago, I've said that about Utah being the giant killer. That's part of living in the mountains and having that elevation change. But this year, it was the Bulls. They have a switch that they can turn on and like, we will play with anybody.
Right. But and the bad thing, the reason they're in this position is because when they should have beat the anybody's, they were losing or not. The effort wasn't there. But yeah, there's numerous times this season they went against big dogs and beat them. So I think it's great.
One of their players, Caruso, and I texted you last night, like, don't you think the Lakers have to be wishing they still had Caruso?
Oh, yeah.
So the business aspect of that. A couple years ago, they didn't want to pay Caruso any money because they paid LeBron, they paid Anthony Davis, and they paid a few other players. So their excuse to Caruso, well, if we pay you, we'll have to pay extra for the luxury tax, and we just can't afford it. I'm so sorry. Really?
And they're paying it anyway. We already discussed the cap last week, right?
And the Lakers miss him.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
They don't have a guy like that that's willing to hustle off the bench any given time, and it's defense and offense. It's getting the ball, it's scrapping a rebound out of somebody's hands after they think they had the rebound. The guy's amazing.
He only had 9 points last night, but he played 31 minutes. You know why? Because of all that you just said. You got a guy who's like, dude, coach, he's only got 9. But yeah, but if you look at the intangibles, the hustle plays and the defense and the picks that he sets, I need him on the court.
His plus minus was second to LaVine's. LaVine's was at 11. Caruso's was at 8.
Right.
Okay, so when you're on the floor and you impact the game that much.
And you only scored 9.
So that gets back to LeBron wanting, I want cool people.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Caruso, you're good, but you're not cool. Yep. This is the cool kids team. Okay, then don't win.
Right, and we're seeing it. And one of the things that I think hurt Toronto, the bench play. So getting into the playoffs as we move on to these teams, another reason I don't like the Lakers is they're not deep. The Bulls played 10 different guys last night. And pretty not super a lot of minutes, but just enough that you rotate them in and out. And that's what you need in the playoffs. You got to be 9, 10, 11 guys deep. Even if they only get 7, 8 minutes, that's huge.
Yeah. The Husker on the Toronto team, Delano Banton, didn't even get in. There's your Husker.
There you go.
Husker news in the NBA. Yep. Sorry, Delano, you got beat. But you get to play. You get to play a game at a professional level. So kudos to you.
Bulls, Toronto, pretty much 500 teams. Again, on the turnover thing, 11 turnovers for the Bulls, 16 for Toronto. Way less than what we were talking about with the Lakers of Minnesota and how bad that game was being played on as a must-win. Here are two teams taking care of the basketball because they know there's only so many possessions. 11 and 16 on the thing. But the biggest thing, both 80%, so 18 of 36 from the free throw line is terrible. Even 18 of 22 could have cost them. So if Toronto makes half those, if they go 26 of 36, they win the game.
Okay. Chicago looking forward, Chicago won.
Right.
The Heat lost, but because of their records, the Heat get to host Chicago. So it's back-to-back road games for Chicago. Now, does DeRozan's daughter do the same thing, or now that Chicago's done that, do the Heat implement something where like, oh, you can't scream over
Right.
girls?
You can't sit here.
Yeah.
Right. Your seats are over here behind Daddy. I still, as much as I want to pick the Bulls, I just looking at the Heat's lineup, home or not at home, even if it was in Chicago, I can't. It's hard to pick against Jimmy Buckets, Abadayo, Hero, Kyle Lowry, who showed it come playoff time, he has a switch. And there's a few other guys I'm not mentioning, but I like the Heat's core over the Bulls' core. Bulls are Giants killers, and I think this is going to play all three. They're both going to win one, and then it'll come down to that third game. Oh wait, this is still the
play-in. This is still the play-in. So Vegas has them the Heat at 5.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take Heat and the points. I mean Heat and give up the points. Sorry,
I'm agreeing with you. I think the Bulls have had too much energy expelled in the last week, getting to where they're at,
right.
And the Heat have Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. When he's on, he is on.
Yeah.
So if the Bulls can upset that somehow and move on, then they have to go into Milwaukee and meet the Bucks.
Yeah. Maybe they're already planning their golf trips.
I don't know. But honestly, I think both of those are an interesting matchup for the Bucks. When you look at a 7-game series.
Right.
I think that if, like we're both saying, the Heat move on, they might be a better matchup to push the Bucks.
100% agree.
But the Bucks are so dang good.
Oh,
I don't think it would matter who it is.
Yeah. Totally 100% agree. With the Heat, you have an experienced team that been there, done that last couple of years. I mean, they pushed the Celtics to 7 games just last season in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think the Heat with Butler and that experience, Bam, and them like, hey, and Spoelstra don't get a whole lot of credit, but he has done really well with this team year in and year out. Yeah, they would definitely give the Bucks a better push, I think, than the Bulls, even though I think the Bulls actually beat the Bucks once or twice this year. Yeah, I like the Heat, even giving up the 5 points. And the Bulls just got off to a slow start. I don't know if they can recover. If the Heat gets out quick, it could be over by the third quarter. And then we have, like we said, with the Thunder and the Timberwolves, taking the Thunder all day on that one. And then Saturday, we start the other teams that are not on the play-in. Celtics will get the Hawks. Nets 76ers. I think that's going to go. The Brooklyn Nets and the 76ers, I think that's going to go several games.
I feel that could too. The Nets have surprised me. You coined them the big 3 headaches.
Right.
After they got rid of the big 3 headaches, they actually started playing really good.
They got some good talent. Dinwiddie and a couple of those other guys.
Jacques Vaughn is doing a great job with the talent he has, and they have showed opposed to what Kevin Durant called them. Like, well, what do you expect me to do with these players over here? And he listed these guys, and then since Durant left, they've played better. So it's kind of that chip on the shoulder with guys that, well, man, if you don't think I'm that good, I won't play that good when you're around. But as soon as you leave, I'm going to play lights out.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you let me run an offense and let everybody move and do their thing. And that's what I think is the teams that are really good, like we really were high on Utah early in the season, there's no real big superstars. So everybody's moving, everybody's working together, not worrying about the one guy get all his touches. And I think Nets can push this 76er team because they just don't wow me.
I'm still going to take the 76ers in 6 games.
Okay, yeah, I will agree, Sixers in 6, but I don't think it goes less than 6 games.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either because the Nets can get it done. Going back to the Hawks and the Celtics, I think the Celtics, it's either going to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. It's either going to be 4 games or 5 games.
Yeah, and nothing against the Hawks. They played great basketball, good young team. I think Celtics defense, they're defensive minded first over points. I don't want to jinx anything, but a healthy Robert Williams makes them the second best team in the NBA behind the Bucks. So, yeah, I'm totally thinking sweep, or maybe Hawks get a lonely one at home. But
their bench, the Celtics bench, what they did when they rested a bunch of players, Peyton Pritchard had a triple-double.
Triple-double.
Sam Hauser just went off. And you insert those guys into a lineup, you have Blake Griffith coming off the bench. That guy can frustrate anybody, just like Draymond Green can frustrate anybody. And then all of a sudden, you got a tee and you're out of the game. Right. So all those wrapped up into one. The Hawks were great. And they could potentially win one. That's why I'm going 4 or 5 games Celtics.
So Knicks Cavs.
Knicks and Cavs. That's a great series.
Right. And I want to pick Cavs. I think oh crap, what's his name? The guard came over from Denver.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Uh-huh.
I like him a lot, but kind of like what we said with the Pelicans and Ingram, he can't do it all. He needs help.
Donovan Mitchell.
Thank you. Donovan Mitchell. He has a little bit of help, more help than what Brandon Ingram has. But I think the Knicks are ready. They didn't finish the season great. Obviously, lost a few they shouldn't have lost.
I'm going Cavs. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. And because they're really close. Cleveland is at 51-31. New York is at 47-35. And I feel that home court advantage is going to push it because I think it's going 7.
I got 6, but I have the Knicks in 6. I think both home team wins the 2-2, and then I think the Knicks get one. I think the Knicks are. I liked what they looked like when they were needing to win. They had not like they flipped the switch, but I liked how they responded to each other and played extremely well. Mitchell's going to have to go off for 35 a night to contend with that Knicks squad, in my opinion. So, yeah, I take the Knicks in 6, and you got the Cavs in 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could totally get it because the last time these two teams met, it was in Cleveland. So New York got one on the road, and they beat them 130-116.
Yeah.
14 points, that's a lot.
That's right. Yeah.
But I feel that if you give the Cleveland Cavaliers home court advantage, that they will eke it out in 7 games. In my mind, this is one of the closely matched series right now, besides the Nets and the 76ers.
I think this last one is. This one I can't even pick it.
Warriors and Kings?
Right. I can't even pick it.
I'm going Warriors in 6.
And mainly because I 100% agree. You can't get Golden State out. They're playing good. Everyone's getting back healthy. And they got 3 guys that can shoot from threes. We talked. Poole, Thompson, and Curry, obviously.
Poole is a 3-point killer.
Right. Andre Wiggins is coming back. They said he practiced with them, so he should be ready for this Kings game.
Vegas has the line even, and they're in Sacramento.
Right. But I can't get past. I think they finished with 11 wins. We talked about their road wins, only 11. And the Kings have court. If it goes to game 7 on the road.
Yes,
I
agree.
know.
I agree with everything you're saying. But take a look at the last 5 games that the Warriors played. On the road in Denver, they did lose 112-110. That potentially could be the championship finals right there.
True.
If everything goes like it should. And they lost to Denver by 2. Both teams played their hearts out. All right. They win at home against OKC. They win on the road in Sacramento, annihilated them, made them look silly, 119-97.
Yeah, but I think Sacramento sat people because they'd already clinched.
And then Portland, 157-101.
The 157 on the road, yes. Now that's the eye opener. 157, I'm with you on that one. But like I said, they did finish 2 more wins on the road to go from 9 to 11, but it was only 11 wins on the road.
Okay, now look at the Sacramento Kings last 5. Lost in overtime to San Antonio. What? San Antonio? What? In overtime?
Right.
What? No. Won at New Orleans, so that's a huge win. Lose to Dallas? A dysfunctional Dallas team?
Right.
What? Why? Lose to Golden State and then lose on the road to Denver.
Yeah. I feel what you're saying.
They're a great team.
Oh,
They're a
man,
great team.
they are.
But when it comes to the playoffs, Curry flips that switch. Okay, here's the other caveat. If Curry stays healthy, if Thompson stays healthy, if either one of those two go down, or if Draymond Green gets kicked out of one game, then I'm going Kings. But as long as they have everybody, as long as Poole stays healthy, as long as Kuminga stays healthy, they're winning. They're going on to the next round.
They're going to take it.
I think that they have the easiest road to the West Coast Conference Championship. And if the Warriors meet Denver in the finals of the West, to me, that might be the most exciting matchup in the playoffs.
I'm still thinking Suns. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But okay, so you want Golden State in 7 or 6?
I'm going Warriors in 6.
6? Yeah, see, so I'm going to say Kings in 7, and only because if it goes game 7 at home, I think the Kings win at home.
Okay.
But I'm not putting anything down on that game.
I don't blame you.
Of all the series, like I said, net Sixers, but to me, that Warriors-Kings, I think is going to be a heck of a series. I hope it goes out to what it'd be. I mean, fans could start seeing 135, 140 games every night right there.
130, 140. The other team that in my mind can do that would be the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the woefully bad Lakers that somehow limped into the playoffs. And yet, when I say woefully bad, they're not.
Right.
On paper, they have some amazing talent, but
you're right. On paper, they look like a really good team.
And I say the Memphis Grizzlies sweep them.
They're out one of their big guys, aren't they? Didn't the Grizzlies lose that big white dude with the long hair?
He is. Adams.
He's gone for the year, right?
That's all right. I don't think it matters.
Well, my only thing was to help neutralize Davis in the middle. I think they're going to have to go small ball a little bit, the Grizzlies.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that the old guys, and it's unfortunate that I have to call them old.
Yeah.
I don't think the guys on the Lakers that are advanced in years can keep up with the Memphis Grizzlies pace, and that's why I think they're going to get them in 4.
And you just took the words out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I was about to say is when they go that small ball, if I'm that coach, I am telling Ja and what's their big bruiser guy's name? Dylan Brooks. Dude, run. Every time we inbound that ball after a made baskets or a missed shot, get down the court. And yeah, come that second half or whatever, those guys are going to be trying to slow it down. And if you let Memphis set up their defense, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So, yes, if I'm that coach, I'm like, hey, we got 7, 8 years on these guys. Run them. Anthony Davis he's Shaq. I don't want to run the floor. I hate it.
He does hate it. LeBron.
Joker, I don't want to run the floor. Run. Sorry.
LeBron really doesn't like to run either, though.
No.
And it gets back to that I'm hurt. So.
Well, remember we had talked and you said he'd already made excuse about, we had to play one game and then it was late and we had to play this other game and, it's a scheduling issue. Well, guess what? When they run you and you trying to recover and you have another game coming up and they're going to run you.
The Memphis Grizzlies are not the Timberwolves.
No.
They're not going to make that one extra mistake. They are well coached, they're disciplined, and they're young and fast as lightning. Good luck, Lakers.
I see Memphis in 5. I don't see a sweep, only because one night LeBron's going to go off for 45. Davis is going to get a 20-20 game.
I see one of them getting hurt.
Oh, and if that is, it's definitely a sweep.
I don't want them to get hurt.
Right.
I'm not saying I want them to get hurt. Not even remotely close. I like watching them play. I do. I love watching LeBron play because he's amazing. I like watching Anthony Davis play because he is amazing. He is a 7-foot point guard.
Yeah.
And he can play center. But he's fragile.
Fragile, yeah. So,
Go ahead.
what do you have Memphis in?
I have them in 4 games.
You're doing the sweep.
I am. I'm doing the sweep. And you're probably closer to the Lakers will get one. I don't see it.
I hope it comes a good series just for the fans, but for the Memphis fans, a sweep would just throw them through the roof. I mean, that would be late. You're taking out the LeBron-led Los Angeles Lakers with Russell and Davis. A sweep would be amazing for that franchise.
Now, unless the Minnesota game woke up the line in them and they realized, we have to play amazing ball, I don't think it's in them anymore.
No. And if they do, like I said, it's one game.
Yeah.
And then they, like I said, there goes all that energy and they're done.
Vegas has the Grizzlies favored by 3.5 in this first game. So that'll be fun. And you mentioned it earlier, Clippers, Suns.
So as a huge Boston Celtics fan, the next series I'm excited to watch is this one right here, is the Clippers Suns. I think the Clippers can play really great defense, and I really want to see the Suns sweep through. Again, like we said, when they got Durant, a healthy Durant, to me, makes them the best team in the West. Not taking away what Denver's done and Sacramento's done. Golden State's already the champions. We know that. But I think the Suns play really good, balanced basketball when Durant's on the floor. I don't know as much as I see this being a series, I could see the Suns sweeping them, but I hope it goes 7. But I would pick the Suns in a sweep.
I have 5 games, and I understand why you're thinking sweep. And I think, Russell Westbrook, if you somehow listen to this, I apologize in advance because you're an amazing player.
Yes.
I think the X factor that allows them to win in 5 games is the mentality of Russell Westbrook, because he has something to prove to Kevin Durant, who was a teammate of his a long time ago, that I'm going to outshow you. But it gets back to that Russell quote. The most important measure of his game was how he made the rest of his teammates play. Russell gets a little too focused on, I'm going to do it because I have to prove to you. Not that my team's going to do it and my team is going to prove to you. And Russell, I think you're an amazing player. But if you could get past that, I feel that the Clippers could push you to 7.
Right.
But if you can't, I feel the Suns going 5.
Yep. And the bad thing is Paul George is out.
Yes.
I think majority of the series, if not the whole series. So you got Kawhi and Westbrook and the other guys that we've talked about. But if Westbrook and Kawhi feed off each other and he throws all that energy out there and everybody gets in with it, we're good. But both these teams are going to run.
Vegas has the Suns favored by 7.
That's hefty, but yeah,
it is hefty.
I could see it. I mean, when we go back, their last game, April 9th, the Clippers beat them 119-114. Again, all the 4 or 5 for the Phoenix sat, and it was a 5-point game. And, the Clippers lost on the roads to Memphis and New Orleans early in April 1st and March 31st. So they're coming in pretty good, 3-game win streak. But yeah, I got Phoenix in a sweep. But I really hope the Clippers do well. It's too bad they have to match up with each other. But yeah, I'll take Phoenix in 4.
Bucks bye, Nuggets bye. Does that help them or does that get them out of their rhythm for both of those teams?
I don't know if you can get the Bucks out of rhythm, but I 100% give Denver a slow start to their series.
I think it hurts Denver. I agree with you. I think it hurts Denver more than the Bucks. I think it helps the Bucks rest some nagging injuries. They're a little bit more loose. And I think it gives the Nuggets more time to think about all the stuff that goes wrong.
Every time.
Right. Yeah.
You'll see. Again, it'll be interesting to see. When the Bucks come out and play, you will see the enthusiasm when they step on the court and how much they get up and down and play really good, especially first half, being refreshed. And Denver, to me, you'll see get off to a sluggish start. Probably still end up winning. I mean, they're going to be playing OKC or Minnesota. Obviously, I'm thinking OKC. And again, OKC should do the same thing Memphis does. Run. You guys are so much younger. Don't let Joker get up and down the floor. Run. Get that ball moving. But the Bucks, you're not going to run them out. those guys love to run with you. So Miami Heat, Bulls, whoever it's going to be, you can say run, but Milwaukee will run with you.
Oh, they will.
Whichever one you want to do, we'll do it.
And they run well.
Yeah.
They run really well.
Yep. So were you taking Suns in?
I'm taking Suns in 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you with one more Bill Russell quote. Success is a result of consistent practice of winning skills and actions. There is nothing miraculous about the process, and there is no luck involved. Consistent practice of winning skills and actions.
There's some luck involved, but yeah.
I agree with you. There is some luck involved because there has to be some luck involved because the one ball that bounces off the rim just right and the guy that's not even paying attention and it lands in his hands and gets the rebound. Oh, hey, look, I got the ball.
Right. Yeah.
So there is some luck involved, but what he is again saying is put in the effort.
Right.
And it'll come to you.
And we see it when we're watching just games as, armchair quarterbacks. You can see when a team's ready. When they come out. Now, there's a difference. I'm not going to say a team's going to come out and hit every shot, but when a team comes out and they're executing, they're just missing in and out shots or cover off. That's not being not prepared. Not being prepared, you're like, they're not even getting open shots.
Right.
So, yeah, you can definitely see. And that's what I'm saying. When Milwaukee comes in and plays that first game against whoever it is, you're going to see them execute left and right.
Bill Russell, concentration and mental toughness are the margins of the victory. I don't feel the Lakers or the Timberwolves had either one of those, and it came down to luck.
Right.
That let the Lakers win because both of them gave it away multiple times.
20 plus turnovers, both sides. And that's mental right there. 100% mental. Well, look at the last inbound. The Pelicans. Last night, 3-point game. They try to do the lead pass as he catches it on a run so he could throw it up 1 point in. He threw it so far in front of him and went out of bounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, mental. I mean, yes, game's on the line. We have 1.8 seconds or our season's over. What did you just do?
Hey, did you look at that?
Oh, yeah, I had plans.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, so we just had the Masters finish. Congrats, John Rahm, on his Masters. But back in 1997, I was in the military leadership school. I watched 90% of this tournament, probably the most Masters I had watched. And it's Tiger Woods' first Masters win, where he shot an amazing 18 under for the tournament. He won by 12 strokes over Tom Kite. Was just dominant as we're, watching Tiger for his first major win ever. And obviously went on to have an amazing career. But watching him play golf, it was after that tournament that you started hearing the rumors. And it wasn't social media because we didn't have it back then. But you started hearing the media and seeing the things was, we need to Tiger-proof the golf course. So Augusta moved tee boxes and blah, 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 blah. But my thing was, they had never said this. It is 1997, and now they're talking about we have to change a golf course because of one player just annihilated that course.
Tiger-proof it.
Those were the exact words, tiger-proof it. Yep. Also, 1963, Pete Rose gets his first hit in Major League Baseball, as many more to come after that, obviously. And it was a triple. I know a lot of guys hit a home run their first at bat, and it's a big thing and blah, blah, blah. But if you hit a triple your first at bat, to me, that's got to be a big notch.
Side note, do you think he ever gets into the Hall of Fame or they hold a grudge?
They, unfortunately, he will be gone before he will, but it'll be after he passes, unfortunately.
I think so. Yeah. I think it's 50 years down the road.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden, you guys can bet on your own games. Of course, we want the revenue.
Yeah. But my thing, he should be in as a player.
He should.
He wasn't in trouble as a player. And that's what I don't get. We're not asking you to put him in as a coach that betted on games. I'm asking you to put him in as a player, as one of the most fiery, hustle, out of the box, gritty, go get it, 4,000 hit plus guy should be in the Hall of Fame.
Didn't they call him Jimmy Hustle or something like that? Or the Hustle and Pete Rose? Anyway, It doesn't matter.
Yes, he was, right. So he all 100% should be in there as a player. And then your Milwaukee Braves fans, 1954, This was Hank Aaron's first game.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So good job for Hank setting it up for everybody. And a little side note, Boston won their 11th championship over against the St. Louis Hawks, 4-3 in 1957.
So in 1957, the Hawks and the Celtics played, and it was the St. Louis Hawks. If you have Netflix and you're listening to this, I think you owe it to yourself to watch the Bill Russell special on Netflix. It's 2 episodes, and it's amazing history about the NBA and what he had to play through and to get it done and win 11 championships. And at one point, they're talking to Shaq, and he's just like, none of us kids that played in this generation would have ever put up with what he had to.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a spoiled brat. There's no way that I could have done that and not use a drinking fountain because it's not for my color. He's like, we have it easy. So.
And they throw fans out.
Right.
Right.
So if you love basketball, if you love Bill Russell, even if you don't love Bill Russell, even if you don't love basketball, the Bill Russell thing on Netflix is amazing. And it was eye-opening for me to remember that wasn't that long ago.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my little side note. Go ahead.
I've had a couple of baseball notes here. It's early in the season, we know, so we'll get more into it as the year goes on. The Rays are doing something that hasn't been done for a really long time.
One away from a record?
Yep. They won number 12 last night. So the 87 Brewers and the 82 Braves had won 13 to start a season. So they're one away from that. They have the Boston tonight, and then they go in with a game series against Toronto. The record is way back in 18-something, 20 games to start a season. So, and on a side note, 12 games is their longest franchise win streak. So right now they are tied for the most games they've ever won in a row as a franchise back in June, a couple of years. But so yeah, of course I'm not a Rays fan at all as a Yankees fan, but it's pretty big. Start the season off 12-0 when you got pitchers that are trying to get in the flow. Also for the St. Louis Cardinals, you Cardinal fans out there, you have maybe a guy in the making here, Jordan Walker, the outfielder, started his season 12-game hit streak.
Oh, wow.
Yep. First one of the few to do it with 20 or younger since 1900. Start your career off with 12 games in a row. Now you've gotten a hit. And Aaron Judge has extended his 45-game on-base streak. So,
oh, wow.
He keeps being walked. So he went 0 for 3 yesterday, but he did get walked. So 45 games in a row, he's gotten at least on base once.
I said it last year, Judge would be a better player if he doesn't swing for the fences all the time, but that's just who he is, and I think that's what he's going to do because it is a game of where if you get on base and you get advanced, that's better, but he's young enough where he always wants to have that home run record. Yeah. And that's fine.
But once you get it right there, then you're like, oh, can I do it again?
Yeah.
Let's let it just come to you. Just let it come to you.
I'm going to go back for my final thought here, back to volleyball. And April 26th and April 25th are the 2 dates. Season ticket holders, Tuesday, April 25th, you'll be able to buy tickets to the Nebraska and UNO outdoor match at Memorial Stadium. April 26th, they go on sale to the general public. $25 for adults, $5 for high school age and under. And it will also be televised. The UNO versus Nebraska match will be on the Big Ten Network. And they haven't decided if they're going to stream the UNK Wayne State match, but the University of Nebraska match will definitely be streamed.
Right.
But all of the seats in this are reserved. So it's not general admission.
Right.
It's going to be like a basketball game where you go in and you have to pick your tickets.
Yep.
So early, I'm stressing that if you hear this and trying to get tickets early.
Yeah. If the 26th, I'd be down there in line waiting or however way it works. I don't know if you can do it online. I'm guessing you have to be there. That line is going to be amazing if you have to be there. Because I've been reading and I haven't been able to find to see if you can do it online or you have to go.
And that's crazy you point that out. I'm looking at the article and it doesn't say one way or the other.
Right.
It just says they go on sale. So if this is something that you want to be part of, if you want to be part of a record-breaking attendance, keep checking Huskers.com as 25th and 26th of April come closer.
Yeah, and if you haven't got a chance to watch them, because obviously it's hard to get a ticket, take this opportunity and watch them. Them girls play amazing. I know you see it on TV. It's way better in person. I love going to games in person. I will be there. I feel a sickness coming on in August, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be ill that day. But yeah, I will. If I'm able to get a ticket, I promise you I will be there.
Wednesday, August 30th is when it's going to happen.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Yeah, I can feel it. It's a slow builder, but I'm sure it's going to be a 24-hour flu on Wednesday, August.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daryl here, Blue Collar Sports Talk.
James, see you.
Go watch some sports.